Well, how many women do you have in your life? Mothers, daughters, partners, friends, colleagues? According to the stats, 1 in 5 of those women has experienced sexual violence. It's hard to hear and it's even harder to talk about, but that's exactly why we're in this situation. The justice system is failing them, and that's not an opinion, it's fact. So can we honestly stamp out this scourge in a generation? Domestic, Family and Sexual Violence Commissioner Michaela Cronin joins me. Nice to see you, Commissioner. You worked at a sexual assault service back in your 20s. Can I ask, what was that like?
It was a real eye-opener, Ali. One of the things that I reflected on was just how shocked I was at the time to really understand the prevalence of sexual violence in our communities and just how poorly the justice system is treating people, that they often actually experience more trauma engaging with the justice system.
So 30 years or so on, has anything changed?
Look, unfortunately, some of what's changed is that things have got worse. The Australian Bureau of Statistics started collecting national crime data in the early 90s, and in 1993 they started collecting national sexual violence data. So data about the number of sexual assaults that were reported. And we've seen an almost 100% increase, so doubling of those numbers in 30 years. Having said that, we have also seen more recently real attention paid to what is it that we need to do to stop that violence.
It's interesting you say that, because it feels like domestic violence is something that we can finally speak openly about, but sexual violence, it's like we're not quite there yet.
Ali, I think that's spot on. I think we're quite a way behind in terms of our capacity to talk about sexual violence. It's hard. It's hard to talk about sexual violence. It's hard to talk about incest. It's something that is distressing and traumatic, but if we're going to stop it, we have to be talking about it.
So sexual violence happens so often, we know it's rarely reported, and when it is, chances are it won't make it to court. If it does go to trial, it rarely ends well. So why the hell would anyone bother?
When I was a sexual assault worker, after I'd been there for a while, I rang every young woman in my network, my friends and my family, and gave them what was then a pager number and said, ring me first. I want to explain what your options are. So one of the things that the Australian Law Reform Commission has recommended is that we need to assist people in getting access to the justice system. They have recognised that people need to be helped to access that system. They need someone like a friend or a family member, like I wanted to be, for anyone in my life, to help them navigate it, because it is a hard system to navigate.
But isn't the end result almost always the same? The woman is re-traumatised, not believed, and the perpetrator walks.
Yeah. Unfortunately, you're right, it is. But the Attorney-General tasked the Law Reform Council with recognising that this is where we're up to with our system, and they have looked at what are the things that we need to do comprehensively to change that, because it's not acceptable that that's what what the situation is in our community.
So to fix this, you need to actually kind of fix everything, don't you? The justice system, from the police right through to the courts, men's behaviour and even community values. You know, it's that idea of, why did she go home with him? She didn't fight back, so she must have consented. How do you change those attitudes?
You're right. We can't change one slice of community on their own. If we're going to fix the whole system, then we need to be looking at all of the bits. And look, that's why we have a national plan. We have a national plan recognising that we need to comprehensively look across the board at what are the elements of our systems and our laws and our processes that need to be changed so that everyone is able to be safe, and so that we are holding people who perpetrate sexual violence accountable for their acts.
So if we just focus on the justice system for a moment, because judges and juries, they need strong evidence to find someone guilty. But often it is her word against his. There are no witnesses, and it's not always black and white. There's no way around that, is there?
Look, there are things that can absolutely improve. One of the things that is really problematic at the moment, in many cases, not all, is a lack of understanding of officers within the judiciary at all levels about the impact of trauma. We need them to understand that sometimes women's stories, because of the impact of the trauma, they might not tell their story for a period of time. It might not sound quite believable because they're not emotional when they share share the story. They're not the perfect victim. And that's more common than it is normal to look like the perfect victim. So we need to educate everybody in the justice system.
So your dream is to end sexual violence in a generation. When you look at the boys growing up now, when you see what their influences are online, do you feel hope or despair?
Look, my job is to hold on to the hope, right? My job is to help us as a country believe that it is possible to change. What I do feel hopeful about is that we have a national plan that every government in this country has signed up to. We have leadership that genuinely recognises that we're not tracking the way we need to, that we do need to be looking at every possible way that we can prevent violence before it starts and we can address it when it is happening better than we are now.
Well, the starting point is to talk about it, so we appreciate your time tonight, Commissioner. Thank you.
Thank you, Ali.
And if you or someone you know is experiencing violence or abuse, you can call 1800 RESPECT on 1800 737 732.